This is Ray.
This is Andy.
And this is FDS NFL.
How's it going, Ray?
It's going great, Andy. How are you doing this week?
Oh, I've been better.
Been better?
This episode, as always, is brought to you by Moose Light. If you need a beer, get yourself a Moose Light.
This stuff is scary good, folks.
Scary good, yeah.
Scary good.
And if you need a shirt with some logos on it to avoid wearing any Browns attire, like this, or a hat like this, go see our buddies, the Doyles at Doyle Corporate Image.
There's the Doyles rule.
The Doyles rule.
All right, let's talk some football, Andy.
Okay.
Andy, I really thought heading into this season that we would be having more tough conversations about the Bills' schedule than the Browns' schedule.
I felt that way too.
But things have changed, or things didn't go quite that way, I guess.
Things are not going as planned, and I think that's a mild way to put it. In terms of what's going on. For us to talk about the game last night, it was a Monday nighter, so you were watching it as well. So instead of me recapping what I felt about the game to you, because I've been doing that all day for others and to myself, why don't you tell me what you thought about the game?
Okay. Monday Night Football. Yeah. The Browns. 5 primetime games this year, Andy.
I think it's 6.
6 primetime games this year.
I hate them.
Right? And they're getting these primetime games because they've got big players like Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Well, they're going down to take on the 49ers, which is not an easy road trip from Cleveland down to San Francisco, but the game is on Monday, so that should have sorted itself out. And what a way to start this game. Cleveland gets the ball coming out of the gate to start this game off. Baker takes a field, goes 3 and out on the drive. There was a play on the sideline, Andy, that the receiver came down, looked like he went out of bounds on the initial catch, and Baker rushed up to get the line up. Challenge flag came out, and the player was out of bounds.
And that was a good call. He was out of bounds.
What's interesting is I don't even know how the ball got spotted up there because the back official was waving incomplete on the pass.
Who knows?
So I don't know how the ball even ended up there anyways. Baker comes out, goes 3 and 0. San Francisco comes out, and on the first play of scrimmage for the 49ers, Matt Breida takes it 83 yards to the house to get that crowd amped up.
Yeah. Now, we're not going to go through this play-by-play, are we?
No.
All right.
All I'm telling you is this is how the game started. Baker came out in a must-answer situation on the road.
And he answered.
With an interception that led to 7 more points.
Yep.
And from that point on, the 49ers kept rolling in this game, Andy. 31-3. They never looked back. Baker Mayfield with -2 in fantasy points in this game.
Yep.
What the heck is going on with the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I tweeted this morning, and I couldn't believe this more. I'm extremely embarrassed to be a Browns fan today, and it's even more embarrassing to be a defender of Baker Mayfield's antics at this point. Baker, the Baker that'll tell you the truth when you ask him a question, I have no problem with that. So, for instance, him standing up in front of some media at a press conference, which he's required to do, and them telling him what Rex Ryan said about him and asking him to react to that, I have no problem with Baker telling the truth in a situation like that. It's stupid that the media then says Baker goes out of his way to call out Rex Ryan. Well, you asked him the question. That stuff is fine. It's the other things that are irritating and disrespecting the other players on the field and that are clearly hurting himself, his own ability to perform, his team's ability to perform, his coach's ability to get things going. I've had enough of it. Baker needs to grow up. Baker needs to get humbled fast. I know that he's a guy that plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he goes out and he creates those chips.
He wants those chips.
That's wonderful when it works. but it's not working now. It's been very up and down this season. Obviously, brutal start, okay second week, sky is falling again the next week, total rebound, destruction of the Ravens the next week, and then an all-new rock bottom on Monday Night Football. You never know what's going to happen, but I'm done looking at his surroundings. I'm done blaming his offensive line. Yeah, they're shaky, but I'm done blaming them. I'm done blaming first-year head coach. And here's why, Ray, because obviously I watch all these Browns games play-by-play multiple times, the plays usually. And what I'm seeing is they're doing the same things well in one game that they can't do it all in the next game. There's no secret recipe for them to succeed at this point. So I'm done blaming Freddie Kitchens' offensive plan or Steve Wilkes' defensive scheme or anything like that, because I'm seeing them do things well and then turn around and not be able to execute on them at all. This is now on Baker. Baker needs to lead this team back to what they can be. Baker has 18 starts in the NFL, and in those 18 starts, there's way too much good in there to think that the Baker we saw last night is the actual product. And it's up to him to fix this, and it's up to him to lead the team out of this, and he has to start leading by example. So the jackass stuff has to stop. You're going to have to figure out another way to create a chip on your shoulder and give yourself some motivation, because all you're doing is stacking the deck against your team. There's a huge bullseye on your head with every team. You're getting every team's best game, with the exception of Baltimore because they were taking the Browns for granted. But you're getting every team's best game, and they're all out to get you, and it's because of Baker. And then what happens is everybody, including Odell Beckham Jr. when he gets the balls in his hands, everybody tries to do too much out there, and it results in more mistakes. So that's how I feel today, Ray. I'm extremely embarrassed, and I'm done defending that certain type of antics from Baker Mayfield. It's time for him to figure out who he is.
Well, my only thoughts, and when it comes to coaching, anybody will agree, consistency in coaching. So year after year of the same coaching program leads to success, right?
Yeah.
And in Kitchen's first 5 games as a head coach, in 3 of the games that I've watched, Andy, the team does not look anywhere prepared to be an NFL football team. And listen, I totally get it that Baker's got to take the lead and be the charge of the player on the field. I totally get that. But that head coach has got to put him in a mindset so that he's not pulling that jackass stuff before the game.
Yeah.
And just go out and play football.
Yes. It's time for the coach to call Baker a jackass.
Yes.
And then call the rest of the team out and start leading it. A lot of people think that Freddie needs to give up play calling duties. And for a while I was feeling that too. But I don't know that the answer lies in that at this point. We've seen how good we've only scratched the surface of how good this Browns team can be in the Ravens game, and now we've seen how bad they can be. Find a place to consistently live and figure it out. The Browns are 2-3. They're 1-0 in their division. They have the easiest second half of the schedule in the entire league. They have Kareem Hunt returning for the second half of the league. They can make a run at the playoffs through their division. It's there, but it's up to them to get out of their own way and do it. And right now, Baker's the major thing that's in their way.
Yeah.
Bills game. We both watched this.
We're going to Bills? We're going to Bills now?
Unless you have more you want to talk about.
No, let's go. Let's go to Buffalo. Buffalo down in Nashville, Tennessee, Andy.
Yep.
Down in Nashville, Tennessee. And one of the things that I think is benefiting the Bills versus the Browns, hands down, is Bills Mafia. Okay. Bills Mafia have these players and these coaches jacked coming into every single game. Watching that San Francisco game last night, do you know how many Browns jerseys I saw in the stadium?
There were quite a few.
I was trying to pay attention to that. There was not a lot of Browns jerseys in the field versus the Bills down in Tennessee, where in every 3 people there might have been a Tennessee Titan fan. There was tons.
These sound like interesting stats.
In the fact that Andy,
very much. Yeah.
In the fact that the Tennessee Titans had not 1 but 2 false starts because of the visiting crowd's noise in that game.
Okay, Ray.
Bills Mafia. the number one fan base in the NFL. No question about that.
My thoughts and prayers are with the young fan that I saw a video of where he tried to leap over a concrete
railing,
separator,
came up about 10 feet short.
10 feet short, and absolutely nosedived into the that guy's in the protocol.
Well, all I can tell you is some Bills Mafia fans go a little crazy with the table smashing. How about we just get back to body slamming each other through tables rather than these crazy
Find a comfortable distance between you and the table so that you can't miss. I have a video of Ray doing it. It's fine. There's a comfortable distance.
Yeah.
But kid. Anyway, all right.
Little bit too much drinky that afternoon.
That kid definitely does not remember this game.
What's there to say about the Buffalo Bills? I mean, they're 3-0 on the road this year, Andy. 3-0 on the road. They're going against the Tennessee Titans that put up 40 points against the Browns. And this defense is by far the best defense, or one of the best defenses in the NFL. They go in and they shut down the Tennessee Titans offense, other than the third quarter, which I'll talk about in a second. But the Bills get this. The scoring off in the second quarter. Josh Allen marched the team downfield, made a beautiful touch pass to tight end Lee Evans that did a little block, cut across the line, and then he was open in the end zone.
Did you say Lee Evans?
Lee Smith. Sorry, Lee Smith.
My goodness, you have Lee Evans on the brain. You brought him up in a CFL show the other day.
I brought him up in the CFL show.
My goodness.
In the third quarter, again, I've talked about this a few times. The play calling coming out in the third quarter, I cannot stand how we're coming out of the third. We come out flat out of every third quarter that we've been in this year. The Bills are coming out flat. I don't know what halftime adjustments they're making. They've got to get this figured out. Josh came out confident in the first, confident in the second, and he looks like a deer in the headlights in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Anyways, he did a little bit of hero ball, threw that interception once again, and Derrick Henry went to work, went down and put up some 7 points against the Bills. Late in the game, the Bills are it's 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Josh is driving again, and their new weapon, CFL's best receiver in 2018, Duke Williams, who caught 4 passes in that game. He was targeted 4 times, caught all 4 passes, runs a slant to the post, Andy. Touchdown by Josh Allen to Duke Williams for his first NFL touchdown. Bills win 14-7.
Yep.
Duke Williams had such a great game, and the fan base loves this guy so much. Last night, just before the Browns game, they released Zay Jones they didn't release him. They traded him to Oakland for a 5th-round pick.
Yep.
Josh went 23 for 32, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, had a passing completion of 70%. And the defense sacked Mariota 5 times, including Jordan Phillips, who had a huge day of 3 sacks on his own. Bills are rolling 4-1. We're heading into the bye.
I was watching that game live with you. We were messaging a little bit, and I'd just like to point out that before Phillips made any play on the stat sheet whatsoever, I texted you and I said, I like this number 93.
97.
Or 97. I think his last name is Phillips.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, he's terrorizing even more. He's very noticeable on the line regardless.
And
he's only in heavy sets, right? They don't have him in on passing downs all the time.
He is he's a depth defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that the Bills have done really well. What Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott have done, they have built depth on this team, Andy. And the fact that in the offensive line, we lost our center in the game. We had our right guard take over the center position, and then we lost our right tackle. We had a undrafted rookie, come in and take the right tackle. And Frank Gore still rushed for 30 yards to close out that game behind that offensive line.
Yep.
They've really done a great job at bringing in depth and coaching up those players to do their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There were some it was a good game. It was a good game overall. Some calls went their way. Some calls didn't go their way. And in the end, they figured out a way to win that game. And I had them pegged to lose that game. So in my schedule game that I played with a little bit, it was going exactly as planned until this game. So now things are off the track. It was a good win. And now, unfortunately, I think you're on a bye, right?
Yeah, we're on a bye. Now, one thing I will tell you is during the game, Andy was telling me that the referees were on the
I was just trying
Bills' side.
I was just trying to upset you.
The Bills were on the Bills' side, or the refs were on the Bills' side. Just to break down penalties, Tennessee had 8 penalties for 60 yards. The Bills had 11 penalties for 78 yards.
Yep.
So they were against the Bills, and we fought adversity, and we still won this game.
There we go. Ready to move on?
Ready to move on.
How about a little what the?
No game of the week?
Oh, crap.
We'll talk about it later because I want to talk about Mason Rudolph.
I was trying to forget about the game of the week because every
26 to 23, Baltimore Ravens are leading the AFC North again.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson throws 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Yeah. The Ravens have been exposed, and they barely made it out of Pittsburgh, even after knocking out the Pittsburgh Steelers' second-string quarterback. So it was every time we pick one of these games, something catastrophic happens in one of them. So
there's a guy named Delvin Hodges. Get to know this guy's name because he's going to be starting for the Steelers possibly for a couple weeks.
I hope so. I hope he lasts until the Browns have to play them the first time. So. Yeah. All right, WTF. Mine will be fast because we've already spent too much time on Baker. But my what the today is this story about Richard. It broke by Mike Silver. Richard Sherman apparently told Mike Silver that Baker Mayfield refused to shake his hand at the beginning of the game before the coin toss, and that was disrespectful. And this kid disrespects the game and disrespects the players and the brotherhood and this and that. And that motivated him extra, and that really got him going. Now, we've later found out we have video, slow motion, where Baker Mayfield shakes Richard Sherman's hand, and he shakes everybody's hand. So, listen, Richard Sherman is one of the biggest idiots in the NFL and has been forever. We're not going to forget his crazy rant about Crabtree and everything like that. But that being said, even though this turned out not to be true, I don't care. It's Baker Mayfield's fault that something this stupid even becomes a story, because anybody wants to bring up Baker disrespecting anything, and that being motivation for the other team is the juiciest narrative you can possibly find right now, because that's what the talking heads want. So Baker, listen, that's what the talking heads want. So Baker, listen, man, this is exactly what I was talking about, this type of garbage. Yes, Richard Sherman made it up, and I still blame you entirely. So fix this.
All right, there you go. What the...
That's pretty good one.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
You talk about those talking heads, Andy.
Yep.
CBS, Fox, NBC, all the major podcasts across the national media in the United States. You know, I'm so sick of hearing about the Dallas Cowboys, Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady, and the New England Patriots. How about some time for some Buffalo Bills? You can't get anything on national media unless it's the NFL Morning Show or the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast, because those guys talk about the Bills and plus all the actual regional Buffalo Bills market. I mean, there's tons of Bills talk there. I'm talking national though, okay?
So, yeah.
These guys are 4-1. They're tied for second in the AFC. Dan Hanzus.
Dan Hanzus. Around the NFL podcast
there you go.
host.
All right.
Dan Hanzus.
He put out his power rankings today.
Yeah.
The Bills have finally moved into the top 10 of his power rankings.
Yeah.
The Browns went from 14th to 21st.
Yep.
All I'm saying is, come on, national media. Let's get some Buffalo Bills talk going out there.
So I got some comments on that. So the Dan Hanzus, the old Zeuser, as they call him he's a well-documented Jets fanatic.
Okay.
So he has a little bit of bias against the Bills. However, he does speak kindly to them. I never miss one of their podcasts. You and I obviously watch. I
don't listen to a word this guy says. I just see his power rankings.
Right. So you and I obviously watch and hear some of our national perspectives from different shows. When I say talking heads, to clarify, I'm talking about the hot take the hot take artists, like the
Ian
shot.
Rappaport.
No. I'm talking Colin Coward. I'm talking Skip Bayless. I'm talking Shannon Sharp.
Ian Rappaport.
Not the okay, sure. Ian Rappaport. But I am hearing plenty about the Bills in the national media that I follow. I'm hearing lots about the Bills. However, Ray, just take it from a Browns fan right now. You don't want the national exposure. You don't want the expectations to go up. Just stay comfortably where you are right now.
Under the radar.
Stay under the radar. You're 4-1. You barely lost to the Patriots. You could be 5-0. Stay under the radar, Ray.
All right.
Careful what you ask for.
Speaking of national media, Andy, we've got to get into our odds and ends where we
do it.
talk about stories around the NFL.
Let's do it. Odds and ends.
Here we go. First story. Sam Darnold has been cleared to play against the Cowboys. He's coming out and playing his first game since week 1. He's been out with mono.
Yeah.
Now, the
guy.
Jets are 0-4. They really need this guy back. I've seen a couple comments on Twitter that Darnold has made that he's unsure about coming back because he doesn't want to get hurt. He's tired of getting hit.
His spleen is not
His
fully
spleen,
recovered
something
from.
is going on.
Yeah.
What is going on with Sam Darnold and the New York Jets?
I mean, look, they're just asking him questions about the illness, obviously, and are you ready to go? And they want to get the hot quote from him, like, oh, I'm better than ever and everything like that. But he's just being realistic about it. Like, it's similar to like, chicken pox?
Yeah.
When you get chicken pox as a kid, whatever. You get a day off school.
Yeah.
You get chicken pox as an adult, it'll damn near kill you. Yeah. Well, apparently mono is very similar. Like, it really, really takes a big toll on an adult body. So there's all kinds of risks, and he's just being open and honest about it. But the doctors have finally fully cleared him, and he said that's what he wanted to hear. So good luck, Sam Darnold. You're right. They do need him back. A lot of Jets fans, including Dan Hansis, who we were just talking about, have already written off the season. So,
wow.
You know.
Jets are in a whale of a mess right now.
Yeah.
So is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we just talked about. Mason Rudolph is currently in the league's concussion protocol, although he is back in the building with the Steelers.
Yeah, that was a terrible hit.
He took a huge hit from Ravens safety Earl Thomas. Now, there was a little bit of controversy in the fact that Rudolph was out.
Completely out.
Right?
Yeah.
When Josh Allen had his hit against the Patriots, he was out too, but he got up and he ran off the field with his arms up. There's a lot of Steelers fans asking why they didn't bring out the field cart to get Mason Rudolph. Instead, they let him walk off the field.
Right.
Now, there's some discrepancy going on.
Yeah.
The fact that the field cart was not functioning to
Right.
come out and get Mason Rudolph off the field.
I believe that was confirmed, that the cart was broken.
It was, yeah.
But it was also later stated, again, whether this is them doing damage control or what, that the backup cart was ready to go if required. However, after so much time passed, it was deemed that with some help and assistance, like 3 guys carrying him while he stared into space, Mason Rudolph was able to make his way off the field without it. So who knows?
Mike Tomlin says whether or not the cart was functioning is irrelevant to the fact that he walked off the field. To be quite honest with you, I didn't even know the cart wasn't functioning until after the game because I was more concerned about Mason.
Good answer, Mike. Good answer.
Not bad.
Yep.
Andy, you're going to love this one.
Okay.
I extremely love this next item.
Yep.
Because I would rather have this guy at the field versus on the field. Okay? Remember, just keep that in mind.
At the field.
At the field versus on the field. All right? You're going to love this one. Rob Gronkowski to serve as a football analyst for Fox.
Fox Sports, yeah.
Former Patriots tight end has been hired as an analyst for Fox NFL Sunday. The NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport and Mike Garfolio reported.
Garfolio, yep.
Fox announced Gronk will begin this Thursday on the pregame show for the Pats-Giants game alongside Hall of Famers Terry Bradshaw, Michael Strahan, and Tony Gonzalez.
Wow, there you go.
Tom Brady has told reporters he expects to see hard-hitting analysts from Gronk when he was informed about his teammate's new job. He'll be good, Brady said. He's been good at everything he does. I didn't know that this opportunity was coming up, but it will be great for him. It's a good opportunity.
All right, congrats.
What do you
Gronk.
think about the Gronk calling or being an analyst for Fox now?
Well, something tells me we're not going to see Tony Romo level analysis from him, but he's an entertaining guy. I have to wait and see, because any interview that you see Gronk, like, he answers everything with kind of like that "oh shucks" kind of mentality.
Him and Bradshaw are going to have their own language on that show.
There you go. So I don't know what to expect, but good for Gronk. It'll be interesting to see how he does.
Well,
I think that's a good sign that he's taking this job, because there's still a lot of people that believe that Gronk's going to return to the Patriots for the end of this season and go into the playoff.
Week 14 seems to be the magic number.
There you go.
And like I said, I am very happy that this guy is at the field.
Not on the field.
Not on the field.
Makes sense.
That's your odds and ends for this week, Andy.
All right. Let's talk about overreactions. I've got one for you. Tell me if you think this is an overreaction. I've heard this a few times now, and I don't know if people are being sarcastic or not. But at 3-0, with Teddy Bridgewater winning games every possible way you could win games, the Saints should leave Breeze on the shelf as long as they possibly can.
I agree.
Oh, not an overreaction.
No,
okay.
It's not an overreaction. I agree with this right now. If you want to have a healthy Breeze come playoffs, and Teddy Bridgewater can help bridge the gap to get you to playoffs, I think that's. It's a win-win for the Saints.
All right. What if he stays in there and leads them to the playoffs himself? Does he have to take a seat for Drew Brees?
No, but
because that's the nature of this response,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Listen, Drew Brees is a hell of a quarterback, but they spent the money on Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
they spent big money. He's probably he's got one of the richest contracts as a backup quarterback in this league, because they knew he was going to be the answer when Drew Brees finally called it a career.
Yeah.
And listen, we've seen other quarterbacks, their careers come to an end because of a situation like this. It can only benefit the Saints to have Bridgewater and a healthy Drew Brees in a few weeks on their bench. I think it's great.
All right. What do you got?
Andy, you and I got to talk about this subject just one more time. We're going to get in and get out of this subject real quick. But I've been going around the internet, and I've been seeing the rankings of last year's 5 quarterbacks like crazy again.
Yeah.
Like crazy. It's all over the place.
It's a hot topic right now, Ray.
And so here's one of the analysts' ratings, and I may have played with it a little bit. But these are the first 3.
Okay.
Josh Allen, Lamar Miller, Sam Darnold.
Lamar Miller's a running back. Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
All right. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, Mason Rudolph, Baker Mayfield, and Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Andy?
Well, if you're asking me if that's an overreaction, it's not an overreaction for somebody to be saying those things right now. And Baker Mayfield is the reason for this. For Mason, I think you're the one that tossed Mason Rudolph.
I did. Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. I think you're definitely one to do that. Listen, Baker.
He wasn't in the top 5 on this.
Baker just had the worst game I've seen from a quarterback since Johnny Manziel's first start, where I think he was still drunk. So he is welcoming this, and all of the hype that was built up by the media for the Browns to get stomped down, they're welcoming this. So right now, based on the way everybody's playing at the moment, I mean, I don't know that Sam Darnold, who hasn't played in a couple of weeks, really deserves that. But no, I have to say that is fair game for people to be tweeting stuff like that at the moment.
All right, there you go.
Yep.
Let's go into some fantasy football.
Fantasy.
Andy.
Oh, what a week.
I'm telling you right now, I started off the season hot. I was 2-0 in both my leagues, and I have entered into, after week 5,
the slump?
I'm in the fantasy slump right now.
Okay.
And I'm trying to decide, what am I going to do with my roster? I made a huge mistake the other night. Did you know on Kansas City they have 2 running backs, D. Williams?
I think I did know that. And you
Okay.
played the wrong one?
I played the wrong D. Williams.
Did you know you had both on your roster?
I didn't have both on my roster. I thought I had the D. Williams. I had the other D. Williams. One is 26, one's 31. I started 31 thinking I was going to have a big night. He pulled up a 2-point performance for me.
Wow. If you've made it this far into the fantasy league without realizing that the Williams that you have on your team is the starter.
I never
Wow.
needed him until this week.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm
ridiculous.
you're still doing better this season than I am.
I'm
well,
3-2.
I won in all my Yahoo. I'm doing good in all my Yahoo pools with my work friends from Toronto. I'm doing really well in those. But the RBC League, I'm 1-4. Like, you're doing better than me. I got destroyed this week. And then in the Dynasty League, I was telling you about this earlier. I think we saw a record set. The league commissioner in there said he had never seen a 260 burger in a. I played a guy that scored 260 fantasy points. He had 3 players that were in the 40s and multiple others that were over 30. And going into the game last night, in which Baker Mayfield scored -2 fantasy points, it wouldn't have mattered if Baker Mayfield scored 92 fantasy points. I had no chance, so I got absolutely destroyed. A couple of really quick things for fantasy. The commissioner of that league was trying to convince me to trade Devontae Adams for Mike Evans. I want to ask you, do you know what happened with Mike Evans this week? Because Mike Evans had 0 fantasy points for the Tampa Bay Bucs. I don't know either. He's not showing up on the box score whatsoever. Devontae Adams also obviously had no fantasy points because he's hurt and did not play. So I strongly considered making that move, and I'm still thinking about it if the offer's on the table. But I got to find out what happened to Mike Evans, and I didn't have time today to really look into that. And the other one, in the RBC League, the commissioner of that league, Chris Burke, just sent me a trade request. Now, trade offer.
Okay, trade offer.
His team name is called I'm Dying. He's at 2-3 right now, so
Yeah.
I don't think he's too happy. He's offering me Matthew Stafford. He's obviously trying to prey on the fact that I have Baker Mayfield, and Baker has been a disaster.
Yes, yeah.
He's offering me Matthew Stafford and Terry McLaurin for Derrick Henry and Juju Smith-Schuster. Sorry, Chris. I think that's insane. I can pick up a quarterback off waivers to play for Baker. That would give me 90% of Matt Stafford's production, if not more. Derrick Henry has been an absolute
Derrick Henry's
beast
been beast
this
You
year.
don't want to trade him,
But I do want to trade Juju.
Juju for Terry. That's not a bad trade.
It's not. But
not a bad trade.
So we could think about going back to him. I'll see. I have a feeling the only way he was even willing to include Terry McLaurin here for Juju is because he wants to swap Derrick Henry for.
All right, listen. You want to hear about disaster in my ITRZ league, which I started off great in this league. I was taking on Andrew Page. All right, Andrew Page is a guy that you're lucky if he's going to even pay his league fees every year, okay?
Okay.
Now, that being said,
Wow, man.
that's
below the belt.
I was predicted to win that game by 30-plus points, Andy. And he had Deshaun Watson and Fuller 5 or whatever his friggin'...
Yeah.
He had Fuller playing.
Yeah.
96 points between the two of them. He destroys me. But I got to tell you this. Every week we have a weekly sit down with the guys at the office talking fantasy football. A guy that I work with, his name's Danny Carmody. In his league, he plays with he's a military guy. He plays with some military guys down the States. He's 5-0 right now in his league.
Okay.
The guy that's 4-1 is the commissioner.
Okay.
And the commissioner just pulled off a trade today.
Okay.
Kamara, he's getting Kamara
Yep.
for James Conner straight up.
Really?
Yes.
Something's wrong there.
That's ridiculous.
Are they vetoing that trade?
There's the commissioner doesn't have vetoes in his league.
Okay, so this is a corrupt league.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I
gonna
said
fall apart.
this league
It's done.
Like that
It's
league, like that is collusion. If I've ever smelled collusion, that is collusion.
Yep, that's insane. Yeah,
All right,
that's a little crazy.
I can't give you any names this week for who you need to pick up or who you need to start, because you know what? I suck right now. You don't want my advice.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, want to make some picks?
Let's make some picks. You know what, Andy?
What's that?
I need to get the schedule in front of me.
Oh no, you're gonna have to try to do this on the fly. Well, I'll quickly talk about how we did last week. Because I did the worst last week. I was 2-3 in my picks, and I missed my upset. I actually picked the Bucks to upset the Saints, and that did not happen. So I was 2-3. Ray, you went 3-2, and you got your upset because I allowed you to use the Bills as your upset.
Yes, baby.
Woo! And our buddy Cameron Briglin, who likes to post his stuff in our YouTube comments, he also went 3-2, though unlike last week, you actually came out on top because you got your upset and he missed his upset last week. So we are currently I'm at 20-5 on the season, and I'm 3-2 in my upsets. You are 19-6, and you are 2-3 in your upsets. So there's only really a game separating us, and I kind of have you a little bit in the tiebreaker. So
there's some tough games this week.
There is. So I'll run you through mine really quickly while you're writing yours down on the fly. I am taking the Seahawks over the Browns. I don't think the Browns... Well, listen, maybe I'm playing a little psychological warfare with the sports gods again. It's been up and down, up and down, up and down every week for the Browns, so considering how far down they went this week... wow, they should beat the Seahawks by 40. So we'll see. But I'm taking the Seahawks over the Browns. I'm taking the Ravens over the Bengals. I'm taking the Cowboys over the Jets, despite the fact that Sam Darnold is starting. I don't care. I think the Cowboys are going to rebound. I'm taking the Chargers over the Steelers. Number 3 quarterback playing is probably the biggest reason why. And Ray, I know you're concentrating. Are you Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Ray is writing down his upset right now, and I was ready to surprise him with my upset to see his reaction. And my upset is the Dolphins are going to beat the Redskins. So, Ray, why don't you walk me through the picks that you literally just put together?
I am taking the Pats over the Giants, the Seahawks over the...
Yep, gotcha. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Pats over the Giants, Seahawks over the Browns, the Cowboys over the Jets, the Chargers over the Steelers, and I got the Dolphins over the Redskins as well. Wow. Now, should I pick a different upset or?
It's up to you. We have almost the same picks, I guess, other than you're taking the Pats and the Giants, and I got the Ravens over the Bengals. I'm totally fine with you picking that as your upset, but if you want to choose a different one to make up some ground.
Yeah, so who's leading right now? Who's leading in the picks?
I'm ahead by a game.
By a game.
By a game. Yep.
So I can't be doing anything crazy like taking the Giants over the Patriots.
I wouldn't do anything crazy like that.
No, because right now Ingram's not expected to play. Shepard's not playing. Barkley's not playing. Yeah. That would be stupid thing to do.
Well, but last week, since Daniel was the savior and all, you probably would have done it. But I agree. It'd be a stupid thing to do. So why don't you do it, Ray? I'll let you decide after the show.
I can't do it.
That's your show this week, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, or dislike. Do all that stuff down below. And if you're listening to us on your podcast app, figure out a way to leave us a rating. Don't care what the rating is. We would appreciate you doing that.
Are we good? Are we bad? Do we suck? Like my fantasy football team right now?
Right.
Let us know. Let us know. It would be great.
You don't want to watch this for fantasy advice at the moment.
There you go.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Later.